Brother D here. Just want to talk a little bit. This is just something I want to get off my chest on this channel. Now, I talk about this all the time on my political channel. Area of One. But this channel here, I want to talk about this um, before election gets here, before election day gets here, because a lot of Christians seem to think that voting has nothing to do with the gospel. It has nothing to do with the church. It has nothing to do with God's people as a whole. We're not a political people, so voting is separate. If we want to vote Democrat or Republican, that's separate from the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I'm here to tell you tonight that that's far from the truth. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Um, it is. Um, God's desire for us to conform to an image. I read in Daniel chapter 3 about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Okay? And to me, in that chapter, you have conservatives that are conservatives, but they must bow to Nebuchadnezzar's image. Then you have Christians who refuse to bow. They could have bowed because why? They were already blessed by the king. The king already pulled them out as a special, peculiar 4 young men, and Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, pulled the 4 men out and made them special. They were being treated good by the king, Nebuchadnezzar, but he wanted them to conform to this image like everybody else, having no respect for their God and their culture in that God. Okay, he had no respect. Okay, until they won. Until they won the battle over who they're going to bow to, who they're going to listen to, who they're going to pay homage to, who they're going to show sovereign respect for. Now Shadrach gives glory to God later on in the chapter, because the 3 men were in the fire, and it showed that they were in there with their God, not the God of Nebuchadnezzar, or not the God of their nation, but they were in there with their God, and their God made sure they got out of the fiery furnace alive. What would have happened if they had bowed? Well, what would happen, like it always happened in the Old Testament, is that prophecies would have came saying that Israel in that nation would be controlled by that nation forever, or for a very much longer time. There would have been prophecy saying that, most of the race being annihilated, because of their obedience to the foreign king who did not respect their God. Okay? Things would have happened. If you read the scriptures, you know that in other places in the Bible, in King David's reign and all like that, it happened. It happened where they did not respect God the way God told them to. There's a format as to how we respect God. They did not respect God the way that they were supposed to. And what happened? In war, many of them were struck down. They lost their families. They lost their homes. Okay? When God was dealing with Abraham, Abraham asked God, what would it take for you to save Sodom and Gomorrah? If there's 5 people in Sodom and Gomorrah, would you save the city? And it got down where God told Abram, I haven't read it in a while. See if I can find it real quick. I don't want to be wrong. But I think it got down. He said, if you find 2 people in the city, I will not destroy it. But God had already planned to destroy it because of the wickedness of those cities. And this stuff is important to us today. You think it don't matter today like it did back then. Yes, it does. It matters. It does matter. Men of the city of Sodom. Okay, this is when they... Oh no, this would be after. Okay, here it is here. It is chapter 19. Okay, here it is. Okay, let me read. Let me start up here. You need to know how this works. The men turned from there and went toward Sodom while Abraham remained standing before the Lord. Abraham stepped forward and said, will you really sweep away the righteous with the wicked? So listen. First of all, and I'm reading from the CSB, but, you know, this is not my standard translation. My standard translation is the New King James, but I'm reading this so this can be clear. So, Abraham is talking about saving the righteous. He's not talking about saving the wicked. He's talking about the righteous. Then the men turned from there and went toward Sodom while Abraham remained standing before the Lord. Abraham stepped forward and said, will you really sweep away the righteous with the wicked? What if there are 50 righteous people in the city? Will you really sweep it away instead of sparing the place for the sake of the 50 righteous people who are in it? You cannot possibly do such a thing, to kill the righteous with the wicked, treating the righteous and the wicked alike. You could not possibly do that. Won't the judge of the whole earth do what is just? Let me tell you something about your voting rights, your voting habits. You should vote and look out for Christians when you vote. You should pray for the President of the United States, whoever it's going to be. But you should be looking out for Christians. You should vote for the president that's going to look out for Christians. You should vote for the president that will not allow destruction to come upon our nation. Because when we legislate all this immorality in the Democratic Party, okay, it sets us up just like it did in the Bible days with Israel. It sets America up for war. It sets America up for war within itself, as well as on the outside coming in. So right now we have this situation with these migrants in our country that don't appreciate our country. And they are raping and breaking into homes, chasing people out of their homes. They got their hands on guns. When they trying to take away our guns, these fools got more guns than you got. And they ain't got no money, no place to live, but they got guns. Check those apples out, okay? They are out there ruining and making a mess of our nation. Within. Meanwhile, we're afraid that we might have to go up against China for a couple reasons. The second reason being that the Philippines is our allies, and we might have to go into the Philippines for the sake of the Philippines and go up against China to protect the Philippines. Now, I know Donald Trump will go there and come to the Philippines aid, but I believe Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, Joe Biden will sit back and let it happen. Let the war go on. When China has already slapped us around and he's slapping other nations around, okay? Everybody has a bigger dog that wants to beat them in a fight and take over what's there. Every dog has a bigger dog that wants his dish. Every dog has a bigger dog than him that wants his dish. America just got all these dogs coming out of us because we're the biggest dog. So we got a whole bunch of dogs coming at us. But this is the thing, though. This is all Bible. And if America doesn't get itself together, it will suffer a sinner's punishment. It will suffer a sinner's, okay? Abraham just asked God, will you destroy the good with the wicked? Will you destroy the righteous with the wicked? And right now in Florida, as we speak, there's a lot of Christians out there that lost their homes. Okay? Now you say, well, how do you know? Well, I know Florida does a lot wrong. I hear it all in the news all the time. A lot goes on in Florida that shouldn't go on. Okay? The next time California has an earthquake, they already predicted it. It's going to be the worst ever if it happens. They're afraid that the next earthquake would wipe out California. But who you vote for has a lot to do with your sworn faith to God. Just like when you go out and buy, you think about those that are poor. You think about those that deserve to be blessed and have good things. You think about that when you shop. You think about you know, you look out for your family, you look out for your neighbors. Okay? When we are Christians, we look out for our Christian brothers and sisters, our Christian neighbors. We look out for the righteous, and we look out for the wicked that they might be saved. That they might be saved. But condoning somebody's sin, saying, well, you know, they have a right to get abortions. They have that right. They have a right to be gay. You can't stop them from being gay. People are going to be gay no matter what. That's true. But we don't have to condone it because it's going, like you said, you just answered your own question. You just answered your own defense. It's going to be condoned either way. Okay, so why would you vote Democratic, being it's going to be condoned either way? So therefore, this whole thing about you need to be Democratic to help those that don't have is a lie. I got a Christian friend that says the reason why he's Democratic, and he's black, the reason why he's Democratic is because he's got to look out for those that don't have. Those that ain't as fortunate and conservative as him. He's got to look out for them. And I think that's a holdup. I think that's a snare. I really do. Will you really sweep it away instead of sparing the place for the sake of 50 righteous people who are in it? You could not possibly do such a thing to kill the righteous with the wicked, treating the righteous and the wicked alike. You could not possibly do that. Won't the judge of the whole earth do what is just? The Lord said, if I find 50 righteous in the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, I will spare the whole place for their sake. Then Abraham answered, since I have ventured to speak to the Lord, even though I am dust and ashes, suppose the 50 righteous lack 5. Will you destroy the whole city for the lack of 5? He replied, I will not destroy it if I find 45 there. Then he spoke to him again. Suppose 40 are found there, he answered. I will not do it on the account of 40. He said, let my Lord not be angry, and I will speak further. Suppose 30 are found there. He answered, I will not do it if I find 30 there. Then he said, since I have ventured to speak to my Lord, suppose 20 are found there. He replied, I will not destroy it on account of 20. Then he said, let my Lord not be angry, and I will speak one more time. Suppose 10 are found there. He answered, I will not destroy it on the count of 10. When the Lord had finished speaking with Abraham, he departed, and Abraham returned to his place. Okay? So if the Lord finds 10 righteous people in Sodom and Gomorrah, he will not destroy it. Okay? But we see a lot of things happening. And I'm going to tell you something about wickedness and righteousness. A lot of Christians today are hating on Christians. A lot of Christians today are, they're calling other Christians names and trying to ruin their YouTube channels, and they want their churches destroyed or taken down or whatever. Christians hating Christians, okay, that's just as wicked as the wicked itself. That's not Christians. Iron sharpens iron. That's not what that is. That's malicious behavior in calling it Christian. Okay. I could never, ever again vote Democrat. Saw a video today, 3 different angles of it by 3 different of my favorite YouTubers talking about Barack Obama trying to reach out to black people about who they're going to vote for in this election. And I just got into an argument with some people at my job because there's some kind of campaign going on at my job, and there's a black group there that was giving away free Black Lives Matter t-shirts or free black voters t-shirts, and the t-shirts say Black Voters Matter. And then it says the same old thing that it says on all Black Lives Matter t-shirts. On the back it says, this is all about us. Okay? It's all about us. Okay? No, it's not about us. It's about America, black folks. We are Americans. There's no place called Blackifa or Blackie Mania or whatever. There's no state, no country called Black or Blackia or you know, the Dark Hole or whatever, you know. There's no country for black people. We are literally Americans. And I've seen white people laugh at me when I said that I'm an American with pride and hope and fear. They looked at me and laughed like, you're an American. I'm like, that's funny. But I am an American. I'm an American before I'm a black man. And I'm a Christian before I am an American. Let me say that again. I'm an American before I am a black man. And I'm a Christian before I am an American. Well, how do you say that, dear? How can you say such crazy things? Well, because there's no country, again, with my name on it. Asians can go back to Asia. Matter of fact, they got a country for all of them. Japanese Asians can go back to Japan. Chinese Asians can go back to China. Filipinos can go back to the Philippines. You know what I'm saying? You got other nations out there that ain't popular. They can go back. You know, people from Indonesia can go back to Indonesia. Where black people want to go? We don't know enough Yiddish to move back and move back to Israel, as some claim we're from. Go back to Israel and move in with our Yiddish speaking friends and brothers and sisters. Right? Neither do we know enough Hebrew, or can you even find a Hebrew today to go back and speak the Hebrew language to and live in their village and be happy with them? No. If we ever leave this country, especially if we leave this country for the sake of being somebody else and being part of a different culture, we become residents of that country and that city, state that we live in. Okay? So that means that whatever their communism is, or whatever their freedoms are, whatever their socialist problems are, whatever they are, you are happily partaker of those things. Okay? I wouldn't want to move to another country. I don't trust that. As much as I'm sick of the politics in America, I wouldn't want to move to another country, because if America is starting to struggle, other countries are starting to struggle too. The poverty rate just went up in the Philippines as I'm speaking. And there's more crime now as I'm speaking in the Philippines. More crime and more lust and you know, just you name it. It's going on in the Philippines right now as I speak. Okay? So, I'm proud to be an American. And whatever country I go to, if I do make my home there, it'll be my second home. My first home, my commitment, will always be to my country, the United States of America. Okay? I am an American. You can call me Afro-American, you can call me Black American, whatever you want. But I am an American. Capitalize and highlight the word American. And I'm proud to be an American. I didn't say I was proud to be part of black culture. I said I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud to be an American. But America is falling. America was never, ever supposed to be so much of a melting pot, first of all, that we let other people come into our country and brutalize white people and take our homes and take our jobs, and we're fighting over food and land and you name it. It's never supposed to be that way, especially with people outside of our nation. Okay, and I know in a lot of other countries, you can't go there and own anything. You can rent it as much as you want, as much as your heart's desire can take it. But you can't own anything, just like in the Philippines. You cannot own your home. You cannot own your cars. If you leave the Philippines and you have a house and a car, you're going to be sending money back and forth to the Philippines to hold on to that house and that car. Because you can't own it. Okay? They're all rentals. Okay? As an American, you cannot own it. Now, if you're of Filipino descent, and they can prove that, then you can own your house. So a lot of these men that are married to Filipinas in the Philippines, their house, they don't really own their house, their wife does. Okay? Their wife owns the house. They are actually a guest in the wife's house, even though they're paying the money for her to own the house. They bought the house off of her for their marriage anyway. It's going to be treated like she owns everything, because some people are very, very much into their culture and race way above and beyond where you could ever be in yours or in this country or whatever. And it's funny how we go to other countries and they know English, most of them. They know English. But they come here and they don't know English. And they feel they don't have to know English. But what's the first thing a man does when he goes to the continent of Asia to visit any of them places, even the Philippines? Which English is almost a first language in the Philippines. But what do when they go over there? They try to learn enough of the foreign language so that they can communicate with the people of that city and town or city and state. But in closing, do you believe that God cares about your voting experience? Do you believe that God cares about who you vote for? I've always said this in a dozen videos. You can find this on my other channel, my Area of One channel. In my opinion, no Christians has any business voting Democrat. I don't care if you're black, Indian, Spanish, white, whatever you are. You have no business voting Democrat. That is the devil's party. Okay? That is the devil's party. You need to get out of there. Okay? Voting Republican is not about giving Donald Trump, his kingship to run the world like a tyrant. Voting Republican is not about, pushing out the poor and bringing in the rich. It's not about walking on anybody's back or stepping on anybody's toes. Okay? There's nothing we can do about the LGBTQ soup alphabet gang. Okay? There's nothing we can do about that except pray for them, number one, and pray for our nation while we do it. And then two, there's nothing we can do about that but stand our ground and make sure that the people that are learning and receiving from us, they are not influenced by these things. These things will not be a problem when they lurk themselves in front of us. But what we need in America right now is we need a president that cares about the people. And he needs to care about the people that have always stood for our culture. All right? And that's what it's all about. It's about standing up for our culture. When we say make America great again, we're not talking about slavery. That's a moron excuse to not do it. When we say make America great again, we're talking about make America the place where everybody had jobs, the place where everybody was getting married instead of fornicating all the time. And now your woman got to get an abortion and you're pushing us, okay? That's not make America great. Making America great again is we learn how to live together and we learn how to be all conform to a typical policy, and that typical policy will keep us in perfect stead and peace. Okay? In all customs and policies of our nation. Okay? I am blessed to be an American. And you know the second reason why. Just look at me. You know why I'm blessed to be an American. Okay? But it's up to you. But you know, everybody talking about what Donald Trump said. What did Donald Trump say about the nation? I don't care about, you know, locker room talk or you know, talk about, you know, because he's with a private friend or something. What did he say about this nation and what he plans to do to it? Okay? That's what I'm concerned about. And I've watched all his rallies and things of that nature. I really don't see anything wrong with the man. But you can tell me what's wrong with him that, you know. Some of the brightest people I know don't like Donald Trump. But I'm going to bed. It's late. Thank you for watching. D. Roy Cruz, Life Applications Officer, Cruz for Christ.